Hey, welcome back to 52 Weekends. For those of you that are subscribers looking for my partner's travel stuff, I apologize. Our most popular videos we've done on this channel have been when we've reviewed travel vans that we've used during COVID if we couldn't get on airplanes or went on trips and such. And the most popular video I ever did was I did one on my 2015 F150, kind of a truck buyer's guide thing on why we picked what we did. That truck had a collision issue and an insurance company bought it, and we ended up with this 2018, and we're downsizing to just one vehicle here in the Midwest, and we're relocating for the winter. So if you've pulled this off of Facebook and you're looking specifically about this vehicle, let me get into that first, but then let me also talk about the F-150s as I go. I've had them all, been through a lot. With company vehicles, I've driven Chevys, Toyotas, Dodges, Nissans, but had a family member who was a Ford employee, so we always bought Fords new over the years, all the way through the rust buckets in the 80s and the 90s. The 97, I think it was 03, was that newer rounder redesign with the 5.4. That was a pretty decent truck. And then when they went to the 08, I think, to 07 to 08, they had, I'm sorry, 04 to 08. They had a decent body, but it still was a rust bucket, and they screwed up the 5.4 spark plug thing, and you had to crawl under the dash to fix that. It was a nightmare of a truck. The 9 to 13 I had was a 3.5 turbo, really decent truck. I'd probably still be driving that truck, except the body was falling off of it because Ford never did figure out how to stop trucks from rusting out completely. And then I had the 15, was the first year of the aluminum body, and this was an 18 with the aluminum body. If you're looking at the newer ones, these are my concerns as far as what to get, what not to get. 2015 and on are aluminum body, so I'd look at 2015 and on. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with rust, and that's more expensive to fix than mechanical. 2015 and on, you can get that 2.7 EcoBoost. If you're just hauling passengers, do that. You can get the 3.5 EcoBoost. If it's just one person, you're not hauling cargo, do that. If you're pulling any kind of weight and concerned about longevity, this is the 5-liter V8, do that. If you're concerned about bulletproof transmissions, they had the 6-speed up through 2017. This 2018 has the 10-speed from everything here forward, and they've had no issues that I'm aware of with the 10-speed transmission. So let's take a look at this truck. Let me tell you that first thing is, I thought this would be a goofy gimmick that when you're walking up to the truck, you can hit this button here for the open the tailgate. I'm sorry, here it is. And when the tailgate opens, especially if you have a tonneau cover on, it's easy to get stuff in and throw it in and out. And on Fords, if you get 2 key fobs, you can set the second one as a, I can't remember what they call it, the guy that gets the car at the restaurant. You can set it so it's limited speed, limit the volume on the radio, use it for your teenage kid, and program that key. You can also program both keys separately for the mirror settings, the heat settings, all of those kinds of things as you go. The reason I picked this car is when I got the Carfax, and I encourage anybody that's going to invest in a vehicle, get the Carfax. This one was every 5,000. Whoever had it before me had like OCD. They change the oil every 5,000 without question, and I've stuck to that since I've had it. So that's out there. The other thing is these Fords have this tailgate step where you pull it out, and then you can grab the handle, and you can be a pretty big person and still get right back up. So I would definitely say that's a very cool feature. So when you're looking at Ford, on my first truck that had that was my 2013. I think I had the truck 6 months before I realized I had that. Other thing to look at when you're looking at the Ford is, for whatever reason, they don't put this bracket in or these adapters anymore. And I had to buy these 4 brackets for hooks and I had to buy these, so that was like 200 bucks. One neat thing, because this is the Platinum Edition, is it's got this button here, and then that light comes on, that overhead light comes on, and at night that really does light up the box. And if you put a topper on, because we did for one trip, that's handy too. Here's how it shuts off. And this is the plug. It comes with a couple different plugs, and I had the adapter there so that I can hook a topper up, and the lights work through the topper with that too, so that was slick. It does have the full chip rust guard, factory rust guard. Again, with the aluminum body, you're going to get that. And with everything else on it, this one did have the power running boards, just like I complained about in the last one. The power running boards do not work well. Wisconsin winters are not. So we've got this one and have Ford manual running boards installed. They don't seem to stick out until you open the door. And then you notice that the door comes in so far, so they do in fact stick out. With the key fobs, the other thing you can see here is that you can open with this code on the side. I guess Ford's discontinuing that for 2025, which is kind of disappointing to me. And we do have those shade guards, so if you're out in the heat, you can open your windows a crack, not have to worry about it. Get in. The other thing that I think is really important, especially if you get the 3.5 turbo, is make sure you get the remote start. On the 5-liter here, it's not quite as important other than to warm it up in the winter time, but I did have a Ford employee tell me that if you're going to have the turbo, make sure you get the remote start. Make sure that you, as you're walking up to the truck, you start it so that oil gets circulating before you use it. Let me talk to you a little bit about some of the features inside. Well, I don't know if anybody even wants to see under the hoods anymore. It's got really great headlights on it. I've never had any issue with overdriving the headlights on this beast or the one before it. Whatever Ford's doing for safety's sake on lights has been great. The only thing I've done is oil changes, put an air filter in it. Oh, and I always put pennies on the batteries so that if there's corrosion, it gets on the pennies instead of on the battery. But you can see, never had any issues or concerns. Everything's rock solid. That's it under there. When you look inside, and this does have that really nice metallic paint. This is probably the best paint job I've had on a Ford vehicle since we've been buying them. You can set, for position 1, 2, or 3 for your seating, and then it memory seats to who you are, and it works on the mirrors and the steering wheel. Steering wheel is power, so you can adjust the telescope in and out and the up and down. And you can adjust the lights to manual, daylight, automatic, all that kind of stuff. You can adjust the mirrors for the heat and all that kind of thing. Adjustable pedals, so you can bring the pedals up closer to you or further away from you. If there's a potential for an add-on feature, Ford has it. If you look, let me start it here. It's got the remote start button. As long as you have the key in your hand, you can unlock the doors and start the vehicle without touching anything. This one has 140,939 miles. Let me shut that off. This also has Apple CarPlay, or I think the other one, whatever the Samsung is. So right now it says my phone connected. So now if I do any apps, I've got to be plugged in to get to that. Oh, and the other thing, I thought this was just to look nice, but this compartment up here that closes up, if you do have to leave your phone in the car, you can shove it down in that compartment so it doesn't get hot, because I've had that warning that I'm sure others have too, where your phone got too hot. But if I go in here, plug in, and now I can go to CarPlay, and now with the CarPlay, it's got whatever I'm listening to on Spotify, or if I'm doing something on whatever else, YouTube, it'll pull it up on there. It's got the features like Libby is the public library books on tape app. I can go to Google Maps, or I can go to iPhone Apple Maps. So a lot of features that way. You can shut off the rear traction control if you want. I don't know why you'd want. You can turn it to just camera. So if you're looking to see where you're at and what it looks like around the car, you can adjust to look at the camera while you're going. That's handy. This sucks right here. This is something that if you are in drive at an intersection, if you don't shut this off, the car stops and restarts, because apparently it's gonna not idle as much. And I always shut that off. And I know that a couple of buddies, there's a thing you buy online for like 69 bucks and plug it in to have it permanently shut off. This one, in addition to heated seats, has air conditioned seats, so the air blows in the seats. I know that sounds awfully bougie, but it is cool to have, especially when you're working hard and doing stuff, and all of a sudden, you know, you get in the vehicle overheated, and you can jump out and go see what the seats look like. Get warmed up in the seats. The other thing it does have is, if I go to, is it under settings? And it does have an actual touch screen. You can go to the seats, and you can go to the massage, and you can set the passenger seat to the massage. And what that does is it actually runs that massage. I don't know if you can see that moving a little bit, so that while you're on a long trip, I know that sounds crazy, but I've been on the road. This truck has a 37-gallon fuel tank. So I can leave here in central Wisconsin and get to Nashville before I need gas. Or going west, I can get into the Dakotas. Well, if I've got a passenger that needs to get out and walk because their body hurts, and I do this, I can stay on the road another hour longer. Here's where the inverter is. There's also the inverter in the back seat. It's got an excellent big console, so you can have a lot of stuff in there. It's got another nice big console up here. I keep the glasses cleaner up here. This is a handy feature. If you look in the back, you can see I can open that rear window and close it. I don't know if I'm doing that right, but you can see that that is really super handy, especially if you're working with somebody and backing up or talking to them, or have somebody in the box. It does have the trailer tow kit, and we can look at that. It does have full climate control, and you can adjust so that the other person can have their own separate climate control for the other side of the car. You can consider that more stuff to brake, or consider it cool features, whatever you like. On this side, here's your cruise control buttons, and it also has this set up for following. If you look, you can see on the dash here where I turn that off, turn it on, and now it sets the distance on the adaptive cruise control. So if you're following people down the highway, all of a sudden you're following some little old lady going 56 miles an hour because you didn't pay attention that the adaptive cruise control tracked you in. There's also the settings for the lane hold left and right. If I go to the other side, doing this wrong, but I can adjust these lane hold features as well, so that you can, the steering wheel, this does have a heated steering wheel, but you can feel the steering wheel wiggle if you get close to the white line on the interstate. So if you look at theirs, I'm getting 17.9 miles to the gallon. Mileage will vary based on who you are. I think, obviously once you get up to about 70 miles an hour, every couple miles an hour you add to your speed destroys your fuel economy, and some of us are more in a hurry than we are in worrying about fuel economy. You can check all your tire pressures. You can check all your engine features, engine hours. This one has not quite 4,000 hours, and about a quarter of them have been sitting at idle like we're doing right now. There's a towing status thing. They used to have in here, in addition to the truck tilt and everything, transmission temperature. I don't know if that's not here or if I just don't see it. You can set up the trailer. Oh yeah, with the towing stuff, maybe it's with this incline off-road status. Yeah, here's where you can see the angles and stuff. And then here you have to go, when you do an oil change on a Ford pickup, just for reference, you go all the way over to settings, got to go to advanced settings, got to go to the vehicle, and got to go to oil life reset, and that's where you'd reset your oil life to get your thing working. The other thing that you got to do on this vehicle is when you go to vehicle and up. One of these, oh, here's the pre-collision stuff where you can adjust the active braking and the distance in addition to the way I was doing it, and you can also adjust that side view. So sorry, DTE calculation. Here's the lane keeping. This is the lane keeping, and you can adjust the intensity that it tells you as far as if you're going to drift off the lane and falling asleep or something like that. So that's kind of cool. And there was something else I wanted to see on this. The fuel economy. Just, yeah, here's the instant on. Here's historically. You can see it goes down when you're in town, up when you're on the highway. I thought I could see more fuel economy history than that. But again, I know other guys that claim they get 20 miles to the gallon, and I go past them on the highway, they're doing 67 and I'm doing 79. So mileage will vary based on who has it. Plenty of room in the glove box for the manual and stuff that I got sitting in the back. And stereo is a really kick stereo, really does well in this vehicle. Let's take a look in the back. Oh, and it does have the full moonroof front and back, and you can kick this all the way to the midsection. And the other thing it has, so that if it's hot out, you can bring this sensor, this shade, all the way up. And I typically do this if I leave this at an airport or something. I'll close the shade all the way up. So that's there as well. So let's shut this truck back off again. And again, if you're looking for an F-150, I would definitely look at the full 4-door. I had the smaller partial 4-door cab in the past. The amount of additional room you get with this cab is just incredible. I keep Aldi's grocery bag, the hitch receiver, and some wrap, so if I carry anything I can tighten it up, some paper towels and gloves and jumper cables. That's it. On the other side, you can't really put anything underneath because the inverter is under there. That's your 120 inverter, and that's how that operates. But the seats are super comfortable. These are not kid seats in the back. It is comfortable, and it does have this pop down, so if you've got 4 big burly guys, you can make a trip, and it's great. And if you can even do 5. I'm more comfortable in this than any car that we've had. Last one I had of these had the 5.5-foot box, which isn't even long enough for a bicycle. So I deliberately was doing a search for this one when I bought this one, and I got the 6.5-foot box and the full cab. So you can haul stuff in the back and you still have the full cab. If you're gonna get an F-150, if you can get by with a 5.5-foot box, you can get by with a car or a sport ute, my opinion. But I would say if you need a truck, get the 6.5 box, get the full-size cab. And they've got so many trim packages now: XLT, Lariat, Platinum, King Ranch. My understanding with the Platinum was if you bought the Platinum, you got everything. The Lariat no longer includes leather automatically. I don't know what the King Ranch has. They've got so many goofy things, but the only thing that I didn't get with this one is it's a 4x4. It's not the FX4 off-road. As far as I'm concerned, it's got the towing capacity. I did check that. It's got the same towing capacity as FX4. It just doesn't have the stiffer spring rate. And frankly, I don't need the rougher ride. So I'm good with it, and I like it this way. And I think I covered everything. If you do buy a used vehicle, it's worth it to get that Carfax, because then you can see, that there's what's been done by who, especially if it was done at a dealer. Then if you do buy somebody, like if you're buying from somebody like me, make sure that they can show you, yeah, here's my oil filters and that kind of stuff. And that's what I know about the F-150. This one's for sale. I don't want to haggle with anybody. I'll put the price on Facebook, and when it goes, it goes. But I would say if you're going to buy an F-150, buy at least a 2015, or you're going to have a rust bucket. And I would say that if you're not going to be pulling a ton of weight all the time, be happy with one of the turbos and save money on gas. Just make sure you keep the oil changed regularly if you got a turbo, because the turbo is going to boil the oil. And then if you do get the 5-liter, the last one I had, I was concerned about the 10-speed transmission, but they've been doing this since 2018 without any problems with the 10 speeds. Oh, that was one that I have had, a couple different neighbors have had nightmares. Starting in 2020, everybody remember COVID, they couldn't get parts. They were building, and this wasn't just Ford, this was everybody. They were building vehicles and stacking them up. Ford stacked them at NASCAR racetracks, and it was called racetrack rot, where guys were getting brand new trucks and the brake rotors were rotted, or the transmissions wouldn't shift because the things have been sitting for months with no oil in them, and then they ended up finishing them, getting to dealers. So if you do buy a 2020, 21, or 22, make sure you know the history and know if there was a bunch of stuff that had to be done and who took care of it, or if you're buying somebody else's troubles. But I would say that if you get an 18 or a 19, that's probably the best thing to get. I know I'm selling an 18, so I'm saying that, right? But I wouldn't be scared of a 15, 16, or 17 other than miles. Oh, and on miles, my 13, my black one, it was 13 or 14, that had like 250,000 miles on a 3.5 turbo. I only got rid of it because it was rusting out. I don't know how far these 3.5 turbos will run if you keep the oil changed. My 2015 also was well over 200,000 miles. And again, that was a collision issue why that one went away, or I'd probably still be driving that. And now this one, again, I'd be happy to keep this if I had any use for a truck. It's got 140 on it. I think this probably has a couple 100,000 miles to go yet. So that's what I know about Ford F-150s. Feel free to put in the comments. And again, fuel economy will vary based on who's driving it. Option content, there's certain things you definitely want, things that I never would have thought I wanted. That, boy, I really love those massage seats for the long trips and the air-conditioned seats. I love that fold-down tailgate. Didn't think I would have, I mean, the automatic open tailgate, didn't think I'd care about that. Do not get those power running boards. This is the second truck I've had to take them off of because apparently Ford doesn't know how to make them to work anywhere other than the showroom. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you got questions, and if you got any info on F-150s, put them in the comments. Last video I did like this, there was a couple of really good comments on recall notices and things like that that I pinned up on top. Thanks for watching.